Welcome back to Latitude with 43 North. I'm Justine Pelkowski, the Senior Marketing Manager. If you're new here, 43 North is a startup accelerator located in Buffalo, New York. We invest $5 million annually into seed stage startups. Today, I am joined by Daricus, one of our year 9 cohort companies. Welcome, Daricus.
Welcome. Thank you.
We are very excited to have you here in Buffalo. But for our listeners who don't know who you are yet, can you please just start by telling us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Daricus Rutherford. I'm CEO of StoreCash. And we are an app that allows you to save 7 to 15% at some of your favorite stores. We have about 400 retailers on the platform.
What type of retailers? Is it like everyday retailers? Can you give us a couple examples?
So Petco, H&M, Subway, Five Guys, any major Target. So any major retailer on the platform. And you save on about 7 to 15%. So Uber, DoorDash, all that.
That's awesome. So shoppers are saving when they are in the store making a purchase, or is it like a credit? Can you dive into a little bit further?
So we do it in a pretty cool way. We allow you to pay with QR codes and barcodes. So the way you would do it is you would download the app. When you're in the store location, we would notify you and let you know, hey, you get 7.5% cash back here. And then when you go around to your shopping, you just tell us your total. We'll instantly create a QR code or a barcode. You instantly save. So it's different than Rakuten or a Dosh because it takes them, could be 30 days to 60 days in order for you to get your cash back. And we can do it instantly. And it jumps right into your store.
That's awesome. And we are at the top of the year. It's January. So finances are at the top of a lot of people's minds. They're trying to rebudget. You know, our economy's been a little bit tough. So can you remind me again, on average, how much can people save if they're using StoreCash?
Yeah. So at H&M, for example, 9%. Gap, 11.25%. But on average, it ranges somewhere around 7 to 15. So it's pretty good savings. Majority of people save somewhere about $50 to $75 a month. And that normally rounds up to about $900 a year. So
$900 a year. That is incredible. And this is just the everyday person, the everyday shopper. So anybody that has a phone can download your app.
Yes.
Awesome.
And
is there a fee or a subscription?
Yes, there is. It's $2 a month. But no one has really had an issue with it.
Not if you're saving $900 a year.
Yes, because the savings are so high. And I think that's what separates us from a lot of the other competitors, because we're about 2 to 3x more cash back. So the way we kind of quantify the way we do the cash back is, yes, you subscribe, but then you get the maximum kickback. And others are kind of taking parts of it. So the more you use it, the more value you get.
That's awesome. What inspired you to start StoreCash?
Yeah, so it's a funny story. So my nephew, he asked me for money. I asked him, why are you broke? He kind of told me. And then I thought back, I said I was broke too at the time. And then I started looking at just America in general. And we're looking at over 60% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. So at the time I was at Google and I was working for Google Shopping, and I got a really good chance to understand how much retailers are willing to give to get customers into the door. And I said, well, if I can transfer that back to the customer, then I think that we can help with not just emergency savings, but also help with users that are living paycheck to paycheck in the majority of America, and try to get them savings in their account and help pay for their cell phone bill and the basic needs and things.
Yeah, and that's something that's really important for a lot of people right now. So I'm sure it's very helpful. And you mentioned you were at Google and now you're here in Buffalo. So where did you come from? Did you move, relocate from another state? Can you tell our listeners who don't know your story yet?
Yeah. So I guess I'll go back to my previous company. I started a previous business. And I was on the East Coast here, in Pennsylvania area. Started that right out of college, turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. Later sold that company, wanted to try my bets out in Silicon Valley. Got a great opportunity to work at Apple, then Facebook and Google. And while at Google, that's when I kind of came up with the idea of allowing retailers to transfer that money back to customers. So I got some of my friends together in Silicon Valley, and yeah, we started StoreCash.
That's pretty cool. So you moved to Buffalo because you joined 43 North's accelerator program. How did you hear about 43 North and why did you apply?
Yeah, so one of my investors, I was expressing to him that we had a lot of users in Buffalo, New York. And it was kind of odd to us because we didn't know anything about Buffalo, New York. And he said one of his companies that he was invested in is in Buffalo, New York. So that's when I got in contact with Scott from Kangaroo Time. And yeah, he was telling us that 43 North will be a great fit for us. So we then applied and we got lucky and got in.
Yeah. So you applied along with almost 1,000 other founders.
Yeah.
And you were invited to Buffalo to then pitch on stage for one of 5 spots. And not only did you pitch on stage, but you did it in front of almost 3,000 people. What was that like for you?
Yeah. So I do this thing whenever I kind of go through this journey of entrepreneurship. I try not to scare myself, so I don't read all the details. So all of this was new information every single day. So at first I was in front of 300 people and I was terrified at that point. And then they were saying that we're going to do rehearsal at another place. And I said, well, why don't we do it at the same place? And they were like, well, cause there'll be 3,000 people there. And then I got terrified. So it was a cool but scary experience. But I think I did well because apparently we got in. So
you did. Only about a third of the companies did, and you're here, and that's really exciting. And when you were at finals, Romaine Bostick from Bloomberg was there. So you went from talking about your story in front of 3,000 people to national TV. What was that experience like for you?
Oh wow, it was. So me and my founder, my co-founder Fani, we were over his house about 3 years ago. And we were like, man, if we make it on Bloomberg, we made it. You know?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I did not know this before.
Yeah. So, it was a surreal experience. It was really cool. We didn't ever think we'd make it on Bloomberg, but, that was really cool.
That's great. And that brings up another point though. So you said, if we make it on Bloomberg, like we've made it.
Yeah.
But how do you feel now going through it and knowing that there's still some work to do and like a journey to be done? Truly, like, how does that change your perspective a little bit?
Yeah. So we thought we made it when we got into Techstars and got 120,000. So, we're amazed at every point, that we kind of make, when we move throughout this journey of entrepreneurship, and especially in the VC world, so we now know that it's going to take a lot longer than we thought to become $1 billion company. And we know now that it will, how can I put this? That we haven't made it just yet. And that we still got a long way to go, but we're on track.
You are on track. Yeah. You're going through some incredible experiences. And, if we go back to the saving money piece of it. So obviously, as a founder, you need to be money conscious. You're trying to raise some capital, but some of the benefits that you get from 43 North's program are benefits that you might not get from another accelerator program, such as the tax benefits. So since you've gone through other accelerator programs before, and I know you're in week 1, this is literally welcome week, but from your experience so far and what you know of what's going to happen throughout your program at 43 North, how does that differ from other programs that you've gone through, whether it's in at your time at StoreCash or other businesses?
Techstars gave me some connections to get started in this whole thing. But I can say 43 North, not just in startup week, but you all also have been working for our business prior to startup week. And I already see, a lot more value with kind of just the 43 North team and the many different things that you all handle for us and can kind of help us move forward when it comes to hiring and things like that. So I want to call myself a genius for connecting with you all and getting an opportunity to be into the program because we didn't know all of what we would get, but I heard some amazing things from Scott, and he's a very smart guy. But I feel like we've gotten already that, and we're not even started with the program. So, I'm excited to see what else. But I was just telling my co-founder, I said, I said, we have to hire people. And Christian was telling me that, what are you kind of looking for in these people? And I was like, oh boy, yeah, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. And he was writing down notes. And I was like, well, what are you writing down? He was like, oh, we're going to do the description for you. We're also going to post it for you. And it's almost like an extension of our team because our teams are already small. We're already doing 15 jobs. Right. So, it's been really, really nice. I've had an excellent experience so far, and it's only been the first week.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, you do get a lot of those benefits, such as hiring and marketing help and so on and so forth. And this is really only the beginning. And if, for those that don't know Scott Wayman is the founder of Kangaroo Time. He just shared a really great post on Instagram yesterday because yesterday it was 6 years since he moved from California to Buffalo to grow Kangaroo Time. And now he has his own headquarters and location and has flown the 43 North incubator coop. But yeah, that's a great testament to see what you can get not only throughout your program year, but 6 years down the road
Yes.
after being part of 43 North's portfolio. So, it's January right now. February is Black History Month. So I would love to just talk about that a little bit. I have some notes here I'm going to read. This is like a hard stat to swallow, but according to a TechCrunch article, I think this number was pulled from Crunchbase, but in 2023, in the first 3 quarters, only 0.13% of all capital allocated to startups went to Black founders.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a tough pill to swallow. And obviously there's a lot of work to be done. You've had some luck though, raising capital, not only from 43 North's investment, but can you just talk about your experience in knowing the hurdles that you face as a Black founder, and then coming through and feeling like you are on Bloomberg and you're kind of making it. What is that experience for you like? Knowing that it's really difficult for a lot of people and here you are and you're raising capital. Do you have any advice for anybody else that's going through the same thing?
It is surreal. I left Pennsylvania and I literally told my family, I am going to California. I'm going to work at major tech companies and I'm going to raise millions of dollars from my future startup. And one of the facts my brother brought back to me, he said it's about 200 at the time, Black female or male founders that have raised over $1 million. And I don't know why I thought I could do it, but I took the leap and it's crazy. Worked at the top tech companies and right now to date, we've raised 3.8, and we have a new round and we have a few million in that new round. So, I feel very lucky. And, I hope, part of the reason why I'm doing this, too, is because there's a lot of, when I was trying to start off, there was like 1 or 2, Black male or females that I knew of that had gotten to even this point, so I want to do a really good job so that other VCs will, see me hopefully and, will invest in other people that look like me. It's a surreal experience, but it's been really cool. Really
Yeah.
cool.
And now you're here in your cohort. There's 5 companies in the cohort, and one of them is Evan, the
Yeah.
founder of Credit Academy, and he's also the founder of Black Men Talk Tech.
Yeah.
So what is that like for you to have somebody else in your cohort that is obviously not only a Black founder, but somebody that founded Black Men Talk Tech, an organization that is designed to help people collaborate, whether they are venture capitalists or founders looking to raise money?
Do you know how small this community is? I met Evan about 4 or 5 years ago. And he was sitting in on a call because Marlon, one of the biggest VC, he is the biggest Black VC, is an investor in us. And he wanted me to talk at Black Men Talk Tech. I always get it mixed up, but he wanted me to talk and do a chat with him. And Evan was on the call and he was saying, well, I'm going to start a startup. And I hear that a lot. So I said, well, when you do, hit me up. I'll answer any questions. And about a year or two later, he started chatting with me about his startup. So it's a small community. It's crazy because when we got in top 15, I got a call from Evan and he was like, how do you make top 15? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, 43 North. I'm like, how do you know that? And he's like, I got top 15. I'm like, I got top 15. Oh man, so it was a cool moment, but yeah, it's a small community. It's just exciting. I feel like we're pioneers. I hope that we do a very, very good job. I know I'll work my butt off to do a very good job, so that other people that look like me and that want to do this crazy thing, that they'll have somebody look at and look towards.
Yeah, I love the word pioneer that you use. Because we are talking about this during Black History Month. So your story one day will be history, and other people, other founders, other young people will be looking up to you and what you've done and set forward. So what messages do you have for anybody that might be wanting to start a business, or maybe they don't want to start a business, but they want to work for a startup, and they're just looking for some guidance in how to get there in a world that seems so difficult and with so many barriers in place?
Yeah. Do it. Hop in your car, drive across country, and believe that you can do it. That's first step. And do it in a strategic way, but believe you can do it, and literally doors will open. A lot of people are waiting for the perfect moment. And I did not have the perfect moment when I moved to California, but I just did it, and it took me a couple of years, and things started working, for me. So I would say, do it. Make sure you're in it for the right reasons, not for money. Make sure you're doing something that you're passionate about. Because if not, you will give up because it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That's why I'm not a startup founder, and I just interview them. It does open doors when you put yourself out there. Like the chances of both you and Evan making it in the top 15 in the same year. We've been around for 10 years. I mean, that's just crazy. So if there's a founder that's listening and maybe they applied to 43 North and they didn't get in this year, or they're thinking about applying, what would you tell them?
I applied to Techstars, I think 4 or 5 times before I got in. And when I got in, they told me no. And I said, oh, that's not a hard no. And I kept begging them to give the opportunity to get in. So one person gave me an opportunity to go to the next person. They like me and they say yes. You're going to get a bunch of no's. Be okay with that. I was fundraising, all throughout last year, got maybe 400 no's and 3 yeses. So, you're going to get a bunch of no's, but there will be a few people that will say yes, like 43 North. And, you'll get your break, but you got to really have the grit and be in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, that resilience. Yeah. Thank you very much. So what's next for StoreCash? What's coming up this year? I know you mentioned you're hiring.
Yeah. So we are hiring. We are focusing mostly on growth. We have a new round that's closing. So we're going to focus on growth throughout this next year. And we'll add in a few features, but mostly growth and user experience. Yeah, I hope it goes well.
That's awesome. So if anybody is listening and they want to connect with you personally or connect with StoreCash, where can they find you?
Yeah. I would say definitely StoreCash at storecashapp.com. Everything will be filtered through, and whatever needs to go to me will go to me. Or if it's for a specific position, it may go to one of the other founders that's actually hiring for it. So if you have any questions, just email me there and we'll get it to the right person.
Awesome. Thank you. And obviously everybody should go and download StoreCash and start saving money today, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Daricus. This was great. And I look forward to connecting with you as you go through your 43 North program to see what's new for StoreCash and keep everybody up to date. Thank you.
We'll do.